right, this is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 16. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify the Most High on this behalf. All right. Hey, so listen. Hey, that's a really interesting scripture right there, because you have to understand that when I was reading right there about the Ante-Nicene Council, they're speaking about when they were in Alexandria, Clement and other men, okay, that wrote these writings, okay, and that they would come across philosophies that were 400 years some old, Socrates and Plato and all that, and they said that that basically the Greeks, okay, they were conforming a lot of it to their own. Everything that was in Hebrew, they're converting it to Greek. Hey, let's get to it. Because, hey, the point I was speaking about is that, you know, with this Wapa Yahushua, it says that we're going to have to suffer like he suffered ultimately, okay? So it's only right that we stand up for his name and understand that, you know, hey, this is, it's a pleasure, all right, to be for the Most High in all accounts. All right. So basically it says from Britain to the Ganges, but it also says that so like Clement, he said that basically that these Greeks, they wanted to go and they wanted to conform the stories of the scriptures into mythologies, okay, into pagan deities, and they wanted to, you know, they basically wanted to escape the pollutions of the world, it says, and which the gospel imposes on society, and which nothing but the gospel has ever enabled mankind to realize. Listen, this is just this person speaking about salvation. It says, Socrates and Plato had talked sublimely 400 years before, but lust and murder were yet the gods of Greece, and men and women were like what they worshipped. Clement, who is one of the Ante-Nicene fathers, had been their disciple, but now as a disciple of Hamashiach, he was to exert a power over men in manners of which they had never dreamed. Alexandria, which is in Egypt. So we see how the scriptures went into Egypt. All right. Now, how in the first did a place in Egypt be called Alexandria? Because Alexander the Great, which was a Roman or Greek general, he conquered it. That's the so-called white man. Okay. Every land that you've ever been in, you've been conquered. Okay. Especially when we started to disobey the Most High. Okay, and it was we had a bunch of people, okay, that heard about the Most High when, you know, the story when Joseph, Mary, and Yahushua went to fled from Herod, okay, went up into Egypt. All right, there was a big community of Jews there, okay, so a lot of the main schools and whatever was established right there, okay, places like Egypt. And this just goes to show you that whenever people, their goal, the Greeks, okay, was to convert pagan mythology and deities with biblical, scriptural, Hebrew men and stories and parables, okay? So that's right there where you get Christianity. Anytime you hear so-called Dr. James White, No Class Malone, anybody that starts to stand up for Christianity as they know it, you get your doctrine from Catholicism or from early Greek, all right, where everything had to be about fables and fairy tales and 9 levels of hell, okay, where if you did a little bit of murder or you did a little bit of a rape or something, that's where you're going to end up. Nah. Okay? See, the dry bones that in Ezekiel 37 was us. Same people who, if it wasn't for these philosophies, if it wasn't for the so-called plantation Bible and ministry, that we wouldn't have come back into the light. It took that situation for us to be able to wake up and say, oh, okay, well, not us just to wake up on our own. It's the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Rakah HaKodash. Okay? So we know that's why right now, how else would it be where the most common men will be Bible scholars? The most simple, brothers that seem simple in the aspect of, a lot of times you look at Jake and Jake just looked like, hey, what's up with it? Man, I can't call it. Man, everything cool, Just seem like it's cool breeze, right? But these men are actually Bible scholars, so-called theologians, all right? Theology just means the study of the Most High or God, as Esau says. So, in actuality, we know that that this has been out for a long time, and before it was official in 300 AD, they was talking about it, debating it back in Egypt and in India, in Britain, so-called, according to the writings of the Ante-Nicene. It's very powerful stuff, man. And I knew about it before I came into the truth, only because somebody put me up on that and gave me the books to read, and I thought it was fascinating because I never heard nothing about it before. So it was the historical aspect, but I was looking at it, I was like, oh, early Christians, oh, that's tight. Because I read books before. They got a book called Jesus Freaks, where they have so-called people that died from older so-called martyrs to modern day martyrs. People like Columbine, stories that where a guy's got a gun and he goes from classroom to classroom, asks, "You a Christian?" Or if you say yes, bow, headshot. So, based on all that, we know, okay, that we debate our cause. All right? Don't think for a second, brothers, don't realize that clock is ticking. All right? That we're hoping and praying that the Most High hurries up and sends the ICBM nuclear missiles, to hurry up and flatten this place, And we ain't the only people that's the men of the Lord that's waiting for that. If you listen to some stories or some news, anything that comes from, I've seen a documentary where it was something about medicine, but people were getting their sight back in North Korea, and the first things they were saying, they were like, oh, praise their fearless leader, Kim Jong-un, and we can't wait to bomb the United States and bathe in the blood of our ops, pretty much. All the Americans and their children to bathe in that blood and to dance in their streets or whatever. I'm like, man, other countries hate this place, man. It's because how wicked the United States has been. All right? Hey, let's get some scriptures, man. It's really, really important. Let's go to Mark chapter 3, verse 26. Mark 3:26. It says, and if Satan rise up against Satan himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. Hey, so Satan, all right, we see that the physical, Satan in the Bible, the spiritual Satan, he manifests himself as Esau in the Bible, which is described as the so-called white man. We do realize that the spirit of Israel is alive like the four sands, like across the four corners, Salakia, of the world, okay? And as in Hosea 1:10 said, it's spread like the sands of the sea, all right? So that we do realize that by popping our our enemies' women and having children with them, that they come out, you know, having lighter colors or different so-called, they look like these other different ethnicities. But we, all right, the people of the Lord right here, the so-called Negro, Hispanic, Native American, all right, we are the true people, the sons of the living power of the, you know, of the universe. Hey man, that trumps anything else. All right. There is no East Indian philosophy that makes sense. There is no so-called Ishmael Islam that makes sense that is going to trump anything. All right. None of that is going to make a difference when the holy, most high power of Israel, all right, brings back his people and put him in his place. So you see Satan right now, he's having a field day. He's exposing himself, the government, deep state government. You see a lot of police officers getting put to trial. Old people that had things to do, companies that still benefited from this day off the money, off slavery and stealing of land that didn't belong to them, they're being exposed also. All right, so Satan against Satan can't stand, and right now they're just having they're having it out. All right, let's get some more scriptures. So let's go to Numbers, because again, people will try to make it seem as if, well, it says we've been grafted, that's what Christianity is. I even heard that at first when Jesus was here, just using what they say, that it was for Israel. Somebody admitted that it was for Israel. But as when he left and he was died and resurrected, and then Paul and these other apostles came, Timothy, Titus, that they ended up showing that, hey, that the gospel, all right, this here is for everybody. That doesn't make any sense. You mean to tell me here that when Yahushua was present, he didn't make the will of the Father known? He went through all that stuff, having to be brutally murdered, okay, beat, crucified, for him not to get the full message out that he's gonna get. That he had to literally go through that and be like, yeah, that's cool and everything, but you know, no, that message was sent, and the apostles were quickened, and they knew that they had to spread it everywhere else. Okay, they had to spread it to the other people that were gone in other countries. All right. That lived there, that were calling themselves Grecians, Elam, Egyptian, Ethiopian. I heard today also they said that that somebody was like that old Sheikh pastor talking about a student. I don't know what he is. He was saying, hey, black Hebrew Israelites, they're cutting themselves short, because it shows here that an Ethiopian eunuch came up and he was telling him about, you know, the gospel and salvation was for him, this, and that. So that means that, you know, you black people are involved too. Let me tell you something. You don't believe in 2018 that the Lord was a man of color, what you would call a so-called black man? You go kill yourself, man. You literally could just jump ship. You think 2018, you don't realize, okay, that the people that are here in Americas and all over the world, the people that you call so-called Hispanic, Negro, Native American, that these people here, if you don't know that they're some kind of spiritual connection, if you believe in the Bible, and to the people that the lost tribe of Israel, man, you just need to go ahead and run directly into oncoming traffic, man, as fast as you can. Straight up.